Hello my Yan fans, YandereLover here, and today we are going to be reacting to StoryBooth. The video of StoryBooth that we're going to be reacting to is My First Kiss Was So Awkward. Now, before we react to this, I just want to say that StoryBooth is like one of those channels that basically like takes your stories and animates them and publish them for everyone to see. And usually these stories end up being very inspirational. Like if you make up a story that if you share a story that has something to do with like a mistake you did in the past, or maybe it could be an embarrassing story, any story. And StoryBooth is not one of these channels that does that. There are also channels like Minute Videos, Share My Story, or My Story Animated. Lots of other channels out there that does this. So, without further ado, let's react to this.
So ever since I was 6, I would go to my grandma's house for the summer in the country. And she has this huge house, lots of land and cows, and just country stuff.
That's a lot of hamburgers.
So when I was about 12, I met this boy, gorgeous, loved him. We had like this little relationship thing going on, like a summer fling. And when I was 15, that's when we started going out on dates and we played like putt-putt. One night I was sitting down, and this was during the time when like Sinister 2 was coming out and really scary commercials were playing. I was texting this boy that I had a thing with. It was pitch black, and I texted him. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so scary. I need someone to protect me. Just like cringy 15-year-old flirting, I guess you could say. So he texted back, and he was like, oh, I'll come and protect you, whatever. Like, it was kind of cute. And so I sent him my address, like as a joke. I didn't know he was actually going to show up. And so he called me and he was like, hey, I'm at your grandma's house. And I was like, oh my God. So he snuck out of his house and he stole his mom's car.
Oh, you shouldn't do that. If something happens to the car, what are you going to tell your mom?
He probably came around like 1 o'clock in the morning. We were just like talking and just dancing in the moonlight. I really like this kid. I never had a boyfriend before. Never had like a first kiss. And he was kind of just staring at me. And I was like, what are you staring at? Like, is something wrong? And he just like grabbed my face and he just started kissing me. And I like literally did not know what to do. And he was like trying to make out with me. Of course, I was like, yeah, like I'm getting my first kiss with like the guy that I'm like in love with, like I'm 15. I've been in love with him for like 3 years now. But I was like so nervous because I didn't know what I was doing. Finally, I pulled away and I said, oh, I can't breathe. And then I just like hugged him to like avoid eye contact with him. And he just started laughing at me.
That
just like super cringy, 15-year-old relationship stuff. Anyways, he's left around like 4 o'clock in the morning. I didn't go to bed till like 6 o'clock that morning. But I had to go back home to my hometown that day. So I woke up. And my grandma came in and she was like, hey, did you go outside last night? And I was like, oh, crap. She found out. And I was like, yeah, like I went outside. I was just walking around the pasture. And she was like, oh, okay, well, we saw footprints in the grass. And I was like, oh, no. And I was like, yeah, like I just wanted to clear my mind, She's like, okay, like sometimes we do that. So she drove me back home because like I didn't have a license. So she had to drive me. And later that day, she texted me. She said, if you don't tell me who else was with you that night, I'm telling your parents. I was freaking
You better tell the truth.
out.
It's not
I like almost threw up. I like almost peed myself. And I had to confess. I had to tell her like, oh, it was so-and-so. Like he came over. I'm so sorry. She said, okay, well, you're going to have to tell your parents now. I never told my parents, but that's my first kiss story. So yeah.
Okay. That video was really awkward. I'll say that. That was quite awkward. The kissing, this title was not clickbait. That was very awkward seeing that. It was very weird. But it was good. It was a good video. And you know what? I kind of like that story. It's really good. Really good. The next video we're going to be reacting to on StoryBooth's channel is My Injury Ruined My Track Season. So let's see how this one's going to end. And before we continue, the links to these 2 videos that we reacted to are going to be in the description down below. Okay, so read the description. So without further ado, let's react to this.
I've been doing track since 7th grade, but I didn't fall in love with it until sophomore year.
Ooh, an athlete.
And ever since sophomore year, I've been doing winter and spring track. Distance is my thing. I'm really good at the 1600 and the 3200. After sophomore year at the sports awards, my coach told me to stay in state and run during the summer, so I made a schedule to run every other day. I would run on the sidewalk outside of my house and around the neighborhood. My dad eventually told me to run every single day because he said I had nothing better to do. And since I really didn't have anything better to do, I started to listen to him. Fast forward to November and winter track season starts, but my ankle is in slight pain. After a long run, my foot really started to hurt, and I was limping, so I rested for a few days thinking it wasn't that big of a deal. During the county meet, my foot was starting to feel better, and I was geared up to run the 1600 and the 3200. We lined up for the 1600, and I was feeling really confident, and then the race started, and I was actually doing really good.
So
I was in first for the most part.
You shouldn't ignore your pain.
But then a kid passed me coming on to the second to last lap, and then the last lap, I passed him up, and I almost won, but he passed me at the last minute. But I still got my fastest time. However, after the race, I could hardly walk because my foot was in so much pain, and the coach pulled me from the 3200. The next day, I was pulled from school, and I had to be taken to the doctor because my limping was so bad. We took an x-ray, and it was revealed that I broke one of my metatarsals. The metatarsals are the bones leading up to your toes. The doctor put me in a boot, and I was out for the rest of winter.
Damn.
But I was really hoping I'd be back in time for spring.
Hopefully.
I've never broken a bone before, so I never experienced it. But after more recent appointments to the doctor, he kept saying that my foot still wasn't getting any better. So when I actually could run in April, I was actually on and off because my foot was still kind of hurting. I had to wrap my foot every single time I ran, but my times were really bad. And what sucked about it the most, in winter, I was part of this really good relay team, and we actually broke the record for winter track in our school. But because I couldn't really run, a freshman who was really good at distance took my spot, and they actually broke the record without me.
Damn.
It was definitely the hardest season to get through, because this kid was basically replacing me, and I felt like I couldn't do anything about it.
Damn.
But now it's starting to feel better, and I'm hoping to come back for winter and spring track next year.
Hopefully.
I actually took up soccer so I could be more sports-oriented and work my body in a different way. So not just hammering myself, doing the same thing every single day. The moral of the story is not to push yourself too hard.
True.
Because if you do, you're going to end up hurting yourself. Take days off and adjust the schedule based on how you think you can perform in practice, because you don't want to be sitting on the sidelines while someone replaces you.
Yeah, that's so true. Okay, well, I guess the moral to this story is not just only, like, don't push yourself too hard, but also don't ignore your pain. Like, if something feels off, like, out of the ordinary, you shouldn't ignore it. You should see, like, what's going on, and, like, at least tell the coach that something hurts so he can, like, let you sit and, like, rest for a while. Like, because those who ignore their pain, it ends up getting really worse, and then bad things end up happening. Like, you either get replaced or something along the lines of that. It really sucks to have someone replace you, but at the same time, you really did it to yourself. You should have like paid more attention to what your body is telling you. We feel pain as a way of our bodies crying for help, saying that there's something is wrong. At least that's what I feel like pain is about. So why ignore it? Don't ignore your pain. I know I've said that so many times, but I'll say it again, because it's a wise lesson to learn. That way you guys don't have to suffer that. But yeah, this was me reacting to 2 videos of StoryBooth. Like I said, link to the 2 videos will be in the description down below, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.